Hey, and welcome to second day of week 2, or the second lesson, all about mindfulness. And now I want to talk about mindfulness with extreme passion. I feel like mindfulness is the key. This is one of the things that separates men from boys. This is the thing that makes an adult, I believe. Without mindfulness, you're really just out of control and throwing temper tantrums on small scales. You see people who have no observing ego and they just act like children. So this mindfulness is really dear to me, and I really emphasize the fact that this is really important. So let's right off the bat, let's talk about what it is to me. Practicing mindfulness and focus on the present moment to help you stay on track and resist temptation and to engage in bad habits. So the whole thing is what mindfulness can do is it brings you back to reality. You don't get swept away by your ways about you, your habits, your just general autopilots. What we can do when we're mindful is take back control and own the world that we live in instead of feel like we're getting pushed along by our ego saying, "Oh, I can't, I just did it," and you have no idea why you did it. Mindfulness brings it back. This is a superpower. How do you develop it? Where does it come from? Meditation. So, meditation, there's a lot of benefits for it. And I'll talk about what its real thing is for me, but it reduces stress, it reduces anxiety, it improves self-awareness, it reveals underlying emotions that create or aid bad habits. Now, again, like this is common knowledge. Revealing this shadow, this darker things that create bad habits can come up and surface and clean up and get eliminated just becoming aware of them. It's really amazing. Um, it also can help you practice self-control. Again, something that's needed to be in control of yourself and your bad habits. Duh. And then this all helps in making good choices and decision-making skills, which of course promotes positive behavior. And I have something that I made, and it's in this course here, or it's in the app. It's the masculine meditation section. Again, it's free to you. And I keep kind of adding 1, 2 new ones here and there. But I talk about how I got there and how I made them in the start here of that. But it's a really cool thing made specifically for men who don't like meditating and don't get it and just think that, oh, it's not going to do me any good, and I don't want to hear some stupid crap. Listen to that first video on that and take a look. I'll say right now with meditation. So the thing with meditation is that it's not, a lot of people misunderstand it, in my opinion, what it's doing. What meditation does is it's the practice of returning to yourself, because your thoughts aren't always yours, and they're not always ran by you. They're just things that flow through your brain. If you try to sit down and meditate, and you've tried it before, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I can't keep losing myself. I can't meditate. I can't sit still." It's just like, yeah, exactly. You're the person who needs it the most. You're out of shape mentally. You need to sit there and practice returning. You drift on, and that's how it works. Then you bring it back. You notice you drifted, and you go, "Oh, let me try to get back to meditating and focusing on breathing." And then you drift, and you come back, and you focus on breath. And the better you get, and the more you do it, the more frequently, and the more calm and more confident you are doing it, the less you drift, and the more you can focus. And of course, this ripples throughout your life with the power and everything you can focus on and really just get a control of it, and you become more positive. You're back in control, like how you're supposed to, how you think you're going to do things. Oh, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, I'm going to go to bed early, whatever. Those things, instead of just all of a sudden you're watching a movie, it's like, nope, you're just there. And it's really important. So check out that part of the course or in the app. So masculine meditations. So I invite you to learn a little bit more about the principles of mindfulness. I really believe that it can really change with habit. It's a total game changer. I kind of covered a little bit about that. I suggest incorporating meditation and mindful practice into your daily routine. It's the first thing I do. It's almost my coffee. It wakes me up. Some days it actually even puts me to sleep, but that's if I'm just not sitting upright. For me, the way I actually meditate is I just sit up in bed and put my back against the headboard or sit in a chair. I don't do this lotus crap anymore. Sometimes I do. When I'm like working out a lot, I do the lotus stuff, but most of the time I just sit up and I do the 20 minutes and I do my guided or unguided of my section in the app. And I just focus on breathing. And there's an instruction thing in the app in that section on how I meditate, which I think is very practical and manly. And I just set it aside to do it every single day. And using that habit tracker that I suggested in this course, I just toggle that off. And then when I haven't done it and I see it at the end of the day, I do it before bed. I just try to go, oh yeah, there's my habit. I do it. And I think it's awesome. And I do it all the time. So one more other thing with that is sometimes I don't really get around to doing the actual meditation. So I do an alternate. I do like a different kind of meditation where I just breathe in and out a few times and get kind of like a warm up, kind of like a jog with my lungs. And then I go, and I just hold that breath and I just practice holding my breath. And I end up holding it. I used to be able to hold my breath for like, I don't know, 20 seconds, 15. It's like really short, shallow breathing. But now I'm a little over 2 minutes now. And just by doing it randomly, sometimes I do it while I'm driving and walking or just whatever. I just do it. And I've researched a little bit about this. And apparently there's a lot of really good benefits for it, just holding your breath. There are times that I've found myself feeling a little dizzy and lightheaded. And of course, it's nothing causing any strain. So I just breathe. And I breathe. It's not a big deal, but it's a nice, fun way to practice being in the moment and staying present and focused. And that right there is Eckhart Tolle. I'm not sure exactly how to say his name, but his book, Power Now, is one of the most life-changing books for me. Now, I know it's not for everybody. His tone of voice is particularly soft, but the wisdom of this man is absolutely amazing, and I highly recommend Power of Now. His other books are good, but I think Power Now is his king. Like that's the best one, I think, in my opinion. It's also a little bit more accessible. And, the good thing with that book is that you can open it up to anywhere and still get knowledge. It's not necessarily as linear as you think. I like the audiobook because I've also used that as a meditation thing. So I'll set a 20-minute timer and then turn on his audiobook. And that's another way that I meditate. But it really helps me practice being present, and yeah, I think it's a really good book. I highly recommend it. So the next thing is acknowledging these tempers and temptations and triggers that happen. So you want to notice and acknowledge any thoughts or feelings that might tempt you in your engaging these bad habits. And when you do, you explore your mindfulness techniques to find the best one that works for you, whether it's just stopping, closing your eyes and taking a deep breath, or is it going for a walk? Is it putting on some relaxing music, drinking some water, whatever kind of thing works best for you. And you want to experiment with different mindfulness techniques that work for you. And, it's going to be exploratory. That's the whole thing, is you've got to experiment. Don't think you're going to nail it right away. Maybe you'll get lucky, but this week is about exploring your solutions across the board, right? And then practicing mindfulness to overcome those temptations, right? So, like I was just saying, it's like doing karate. That's what I was thinking. It's like these special moves that you learn, and then all of a sudden something comes up and you like block it, and then you counterattack, and you redirect the focus back to the present moment. And if you're meditating and you're focusing on your solutions for the triggers and all of that, then you're using this mindfulness as a tool to overcome these bad habits. So now you're armed with an arsenal, and you're aware, and you can clearly define the target, the enemy, and a solution. This is pretty much everything you're going to need really from here on out. But if you really want to dig in deeper, keep watching, because one of the last things we want to do is kind of look at how this frame was talk about just stopping and just chilling out as one of my favorite ways of things. But we want to review and improve your mindfulness practice. So that's the last thing, is it's kind of like exploring how well this is going. Does it feel messy? What exactly is going on, and in your review of how things are going? Because this is how things go, right? So if last week it was about identifying, clearing up, scraping the surface, and uncovering things, now we're looking at like, how can we heal it? How can we clean it up? So if this is a wound, we want to start figuring out what kind of bandage, ointments, so on, right? And we want to like look at it and just be like, okay, this didn't work, this works. Is it still getting infected? Whatever. And we kind of adjust, like, is it still bleeding? Let's clean off the gauze and reapply. So that's kind of what we're at for today. And then we're going to talk about support tomorrow.